just saw something and it really just pissed me off. Like, I never understood why you guys would shame and ridicule women for making an executive decision for their life to like terminate pregnancies for whatever reason that they decided to terminate the pregnancy. I never got it. I always thought it was lame. I personally have never had an However, I done paid some money, picked up some prescriptions, and held some hands during some procedures for the people in my life who chose that life.
All right, y'all, before we get into this, let me do a little bit of house cleaning. For those who've been rocking with me from day one, I appreciate the support. For those who are new here, please like, comment, and subscribe. Get it cracking in the comments. Every bit of your engagement helps promote me into the YouTube algorithm. Now, before we get into this video, this is one of those that YouTube really doesn't like. This is content that is quite a bit controversial. So if anyone happens to come across this, any of my subs, and you want to get down in the comments and get it cracking, please, for me, be very, very careful what you say. I don't need the YouTube police coming over here and shutting my platform down for any reason. So let's all keep this above board. Now, with that being said, let's go ahead and jump into this video and see what this young lady is talking about. All right, let's go.
Saw something and it really just pissed me off. Like, I never understood why you guys would shame and ridicule women for making an executive decision for their life to like terminate pregnancies for whatever reason that they decided to terminate the pregnancy. I never got it. I always thought it was lame. I personally have never had an However, I done paid some money, picked up some prescriptions, and held some hands during some procedures for the people in my life who chose that life. And then they
Ooh, Lordy, she already coming in hot with this one. Like I said, it's going to be one of those. Let's keep going.
never had to explain to me why it is that they decided to get this done. It's none of my business. How can I help you? And 9 times out of 10, I understand, like, you it's an unwanted pregnancy. You don't feel that you're financially stable already. You got pregnant by somebody that you had no business getting pregnant by. Whatever the reason you made that decision, and it's your decision to make.
Wait a minute. So let's backtrack a little here. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe we have about 34 different forms of contraceptive, along with the one that men have, along with the morning after. You can take. There's a number of things you can do before you even get to this phase, before you even get to this stage, I should say. This is going to be my fundamental problem with this, using this as a form of birth control. There are numerous ways to avoid this before you even get to this point of having to have this procedure done. It's just irresponsibility that's going on out here. A lot of people like it raw. They like to get down and dirty raw. So, of course, living in a sexually liberated environment of America, women believe that they can, they have the freedom to be promiscuous and practice promiscuity, but there are some grievous consequences to promiscuity for both men and women. This is not just something I'm directing towards women. Both men and women can have issues with promiscuity. However, the burden of what she's talking about 100% of the time falls on women. So it would be to a woman's benefit to be discerning, to be highly protective of who she allows to access her body. Let's jump back in, man. Let's see what she's talking about. Let's go.
But I just saw this post where this girl was like, all these girls out here like killing these babies or whatever. I chose to keep all of mine or whatever. Like, I'm a real parent. Like, you chose to have this life. Like, you want a cookie for doing what you're supposed to do. Like, you're supposed to have your children because you chose that life. So, like, what are you worried? Like, I'm not understanding why you're conflating the two situations. Like, I don't get it. Also want to, like, clear up this misconception.
Before she goes down that road, she says she doesn't get why a person who chose to have their baby would have something to say about those who don't. Well, ma'am, you live in a first world free society where people can project their opinions as they see fit, just as you're doing on this video. So you're okay with women making an executive decision, as you call it, meaning They make the sole decision. They bypass any checks and balances, bypass any other person's autonomy. The only autonomy that matters in this decision is hers. So you're for executive decisions. You're for unilateral decision making when it comes to who and who doesn't come to existence in this world. So if you're for that, are you also for unilateral support from the person who made the completely autonomous decision to do this? I bet she isn't. I bet she isn't for that. But let's jump back into the video. Let's go.
That is just a bunch of like fast, promiscuous girls out here.
Bam. She said it. Promiscuous. Because promiscuity is the reason that this exists. This is not just, women being in a relationship with a person and, they just at the time decided, well, we cannot financially afford this right now. Let's make this decision. No. This is all sexual liberation and promiscuity. Now she's trying to go around the reason that this exists. And nice try. We see what you're doing, but yeah, we ain't buying it. Let's jump back in.
They're smashing any and everybody, getting pregnant, and then deciding to get rid of the baby. Because I worked in a women's health clinic, and let me tell you, 85% of those cases were from married women who already had 2 to 4 kids and was like, yeah, I'm not about this. I'm not about to have another one. Or a lot of them came from married couples where the husband got the vasectomy, but they didn't do the follow-up to check the sperm count, and now they got another baby on the way.
How convenient. She cited no stats. She pointed to no studies, no concrete evidence to support her claims. She said, I worked somewhere and this is what I saw. So it's true because you say so. No, ma'am. No, ma'am. You are not going to just throw things like that out with your anecdotal experience and we're supposed to take that as somehow a testament to the truth. Quantify it, ma'am. Cite your source. If you're going to put out this on a public platform and you're going to stand 10 toes down on what you're saying, you should be at least able to back this up with some data points other than your anecdotal experience of working somewhere where you saw this. No, ma'am. We're not buying it. No, ma'am.
Everybody should just like mind their business.
Did you mind your business? If everyone should mind their business, why did you take the time to make this video? Why did you take time to record and post it on TikTok? Like, everyone should mind their business that doesn't agree with your perspective. But if they agree with your perspective, then, it's all open for debate, right? It's an all open conversation, just as long as they agree with you. Man, well, y'all people are something else.
And stop worried about why a woman decided to do something with her body. Because if push come to shove, like, I'm 33, about to be 34 next year. Very careful about me and like my sex life. But if something were to happen and I did not want that pregnancy, I live in California, so we already know what's about to happen.
This is kind of sad. She says she lives in California, so we know what happens in California. She has access to the procedure that she's okay with. It's not all over the country. A lot of states have pushed that off their books and made it illegal with very few exceptions, which, let me say this. I'm a person, I believe that to each his own with certain things. But I don't believe there's to each his own when it comes to life. You're never going to get me to support that. Now, do I believe this procedure should be something that women should have access to in case of incest, RP3, some forms of assault? Sure. But do I think this should be used as a form of birth control? Hell no. Because you have so many options before you get to this point. This is just an example of people abusing something, a medical procedure that they're abusing that was actually used for something else other than what they're actually using it for now, which typically happens in this society. Something can be brought up and invented, or a treatment can be brought forth for the public to use for certain scenarios and certain instances, and then it gets into the hands of the masses and they can manipulate it and use it for nefarious reasons. And be very clear, this is a nefarious reason to use this procedure. Just because you laid up with someone that wasn't a person that you should have been laying up with, an irresponsible person. So now you're going to make an irresponsible decision because of your irresponsible decisions. It's just, you can't make this stuff up, man. You people have no moral ground to stand on. This is not a moral issue. This is not a rights issue. And I don't want to hear that nonsense about having the right to this procedure. You have the right to access, but you don't have the right to the procedure, which is two completely different things that a lot of you do not understand, and you conflate those two things together. Having the right to medical access is something everyone should have. Having a right to a particular medical procedure is not a right that everyone should have. I'm sorry, y'all might not agree with that, and feel free to disagree with me in the comments. I don't really care if you agree or not. That's my stance. That's my moral outlook on it. It's not a right. It's never going to be to me a right for anyone to have access to a medical procedure just because they want that right. It has to be something that matches up. In other words, the access to it has to match up. The reason, okay, let me stop real quick. Let me go back. The right to access has to match the reason you want the access. That's what I'm trying to say. I'll get it together. But that's what I was trying to say. The reason and the access has to match. You can't want the access for an asinine, irresponsible reason. Those two things are never going to match up, and I'm never going to agree with it. That's all I got to say on this, man. This is very controversial issues. I didn't want to spend a whole lot of time on it, but it's just one of those things, man. And it's sad to see women that often look like her in our community that are in favor of things like this. That's all I got tonight, man. Don't forget to get it cracking in the comments. Like, comment, and subscribe. I'll see y'all in the credits. 2 fingers. Peace. We out.
Like Jesus. Make it look easy.
Hey, stand up guy, boom, 10 toes. Big body, pull up in a Range Rover. I can change the whole game when I say so. I pull up, shut it down, yeah, they know. Running this game ain't a thing for me. I never switched up, no change in me. The only thing changing this season, you go against me, then you know that you tweaking, okay? Cause baby, I'm him, I be on 10. 2-stepping in the party, I do not dance. Watch how I move, make it look easy.